Hey guys, welcome to Solo ReacTalk. Today I'm going to be watching a video requested. It's called The Black Mirror by Ross's Game Dungeon, and the YouTube channel is called Accursed Farms. Okay, let's start. 3, 2, 1, go.
Hey, welcome to the Halloween episode of the Game Dungeon. Now this one's gonna be a little different. As much as I appreciate going up against the forces of hell with a shotgun, sometimes evil is more subtle than that. So this is going to be a classier Halloween this year. And with that, we have The Black Mirror, a graphic adventure game. Now let's just get this out of the way right now. This is not Black Mirror the show, nor is this Black Mirror the game coming out next month. This is The Black Mirror. See? The.
You know, I didn't actually think about that. The Netflix show Black Mirror. I don't know about this new game called Black Mirror. Yeah, that's new to me. But yeah, that's interesting. How there's 3 IPs called The Black Mirror. Interesting.
This game was first. I have to point that out because both of these have way more exposure and marketing. In fact, the new game in particular, I feel like is forcing my hand to cover this right now. Because as soon as it comes out, it's going to join the ranks of Wolfenstein, Need for Speed, Doom, where everything becomes a jumbled mess because they can't think of an original name and all information on the original game gets completely buried. So that's it. This is the Halloween episode. I don't have a choice if I want to beat the rush. This one just got shoved straight to the front of the line. But don't worry, it still gets spooky. So let's get going. Ooh. So like the last episode, we begin on a dark and stormy night. An old man is going up to the tower to do something secretive, no doubt. Actually, he's just writing a letter to you, the protagonist. This is your grandfather. It's starting off like most letters to grandchildren go. Nothing too exciting here. Uh-oh, what's this? Well, back to writing. The letter says he's been doing a lot of family research. I have an uncle who's been doing the same thing. He was researching a lot on mushrooms before that. Whoa, what was that? Did you hear something? Yeah, we're fine. You're nice and safe up in your tower here.
In this envelope, you will find an ancient ring of our heritage. It is very important that you always have it with you. Take extraordinary care of it.
Okay, that part's a little different from most letters from grandparents. Hey, you've got to latch those windows, Grandpa. They're coming. Uh-oh. Oh! Grandpa's going to bed early tonight. And that's the game. Nah, just kidding. Chapter 1.
After the funeral, we jointly returned to Black Mirror.
So now we get a voiceover from the protagonist, Samuel Gordon, reflecting on his thoughts. But the screen is still black. That's kind of weak. Realms of the Haunting showed us Adam staring wistfully from his car window. I think we needed something like that here. But we finally get, graphics, and we're having a reunion of the family following Grandpa's death. And I thought that was Henry VIII in the background for a second there, but no, just a similar style. Anyway, this is like a real family meeting in that no one's talking about anything that important, but you immediately start getting this aristocratic feel to everything. The last episode was the supernatural mystery where rich people were the antagonist. Well, now we have a supernatural mystery where rich people are the protagonists. Well, nothing too supernatural so far. I mean, that symbol on the menu looked like it could have been devil worship or something. We'll see. Anyway, Grandma doesn't beat around the bush and ask you to stay with them. This is obviously an old money family, and husband or not, she'll be damned if you're gonna forget it.
Don't forget, we are still your family. You are a Gordon, and you belong here just like all the other Gordons before you.
Do you truly know what it means to be a Gordon?
Sir, I took the liberty to clean up your room. I believe you will be satisfied with the results.
I will be the judge of that. So we head off to go inspect our room, and I need to point out that almost every screen in this game is gorgeous.
This place looks like a hotel, you know. I know it's a mansion, it's a castle, but really, I would feel uncomfortable to stay in such a place. And things look breakable, things look very old and dusty. Yeah, I don't think I would want to live in this place. And there's portraits of family members all around, probably. Because I can already see one there. There was already one in the living room with the grandparents, with the grandmother. So yeah, I wouldn't feel comfortable living here.
We are in the Black Mirror Castle, and damn is it nice. Yeah, in fact, let's just add this right now. You'll see what I mean. I don't know if I even have an image of a dream house, but this is certainly one iteration. I'm going to be pointing out things I like about this place this whole game. In this screen alone, we have the guard dog statues, some Vigo-looking dude in the background, and the giant globe pedestal with the weird green lights with the vine-like supports. Just on the way up to our room, we have these palisade-like spikes, classical painting.
That looks dangerous. I mean, what if they fall? You'll be dead. No. That's dangerous. Take those things off. Anything with spikes, anything that looks like you could just trip and fall and, impale yourself with them, you gotta take them out.
Things everywhere. The upper floor looks more homey with this very fancy looking carpet. And what? That's gotta be a mahogany ceiling, huh? I'm not normally someone who obsesses over architecture. I don't watch shows about fancy homes, but man, something about the Black Mirror draws it out of me.
It's a fire hazard. This house is a fire hazard. The carpets, the roof, the curtains, the paintings, everything is wood and fabrics, and you just need one match and this entire place burns.
Moving on, we head to our room. Let's see, does our room pass inspection? I don't know. That looks like a hole in the carpet. The mirror's been smashed. Does our butler take me for a common vagabond?
I believe you will be satisfied with the results.
Satisfied with the results indeed. Ah well, we're the guests. We'll have to make do with these meager accommodations. On our way out, we pay a visit to Uncle Bob here, who is obviously up to something. The butler says he doesn't let anyone inside, plus look at how he's answering the door. He's acting like he kidnapped a woman and tied her up right around the corner. We are not getting inside this room.
I just realized that you guys might not be able to see what I'm seeing. Let me just do this. Okay.
Anyway, Samuel here is suspicious of Grandpa's death. Me too.
But really, who would want to kill themselves in the autumn of their life?
Besides Hunter S. Thompson?
Look, William was alone in the tower when it happened, and the door was locked from the inside.
Oh, did you hear that? Locked from the inside, huh? Now, I'm not saying this was ninjas, but come on, our possibilities are narrowing. Just what the hell was Grandpa mixed up in? Did he insult the wrong dojo as a younger man? But aside from clues about Grandpa's death, nothing much else is happening yet.
I've been away for 12 years, and all that has happened is that we have 2 new servants.
Well, no one is clamoring to live around here. You know that yourself.
Yes, nothing really has changed. It's almost scary.
Ooh. But this conversation is important because now we have an actual objective. Prior to this, we've mostly been wandering around aimlessly, which, granted, this is a nice place to wander around, but I don't know anything about Samuel here, just that he's been away for 12 years, his wife died in a terrible fire. It's not clear to me if he has a job. He obviously doesn't need one given his family's wealth, but then what's he doing with his time? I mean, he has to do something, huh? Well, now he's solving mysteries, because I agree, Grandpa's death is fishy. He wasn't practicing dance moves and just slipped out of the window. So we need to get up in that tower with the birds circling around it to look for clues. Oh, and I have to point out the giant skull on the front of the archway. Badass. But whoops, the tower is locked and boarded up. We're gonna need to get in there. On the way out though, we make a discovery. What's this? A torn photo in the fireplace. Could this be a clue? While we're solving this, I should mention the music is all great. Nowadays, I'm a little biased against pure orchestra music, since it seems like 90% of what I hear in soundtracks just sounds very bland and generic. But this game is a perfect reminder of just how good it can be.
I don't know why, but it kind of reminds me of The Outer Limits. It's a science fiction television show, kind of like horror science fiction. Yeah, I don't know. The music just kind of reminds me of that for some reason. Yeah.
I'm not even sure what these pieces are doing differently than most other soundtracks out there, but it really adds to this mysterious atmosphere of everything. I liked it so much, I got permission from the composer to use it in one of my videos. Although his email address no longer works, so he's mysteriously disappeared also. And ta-da! It looks like our clue is a picture of some hobo. I mean, tell me he doesn't have a crazy look in his eyes. No wonder they tried to burn this. So that didn't help, but maybe if we solve some more puzzles, we can get this tower open. Okay, once again, I have to point this out. We have our usual mansion trimmings with the swords, coat of arms, fancy carpets, but we also have a Greek statue. That's good, and I love this. Look at this curtain holder. Just a friendly, foreboding head sticking out there. Makes it look like this weird xenomorphic bat or something.
This house is the stuff of nightmares. Why do you have that? Why? If
Awesome. And let's get a look at these paintings. Yeah, okay, so he looks like a dark wizard. And the family history is his brother, the Vigo guy here, killed him. This certainly looks like a man who got things done in life. I guess having blood smeared across your armor will do that. This castle rules.
The fire has to be maintained in winter as well as summer. Otherwise, it's very cold in here.
I'm glad he mentioned that, because these things are not cheap to maintain. Anyway, we talked to Bates, the house servant here. No relation, I'm sure. And he again tells us how your uncle is being suspicious. He doesn't agree that everything is the same, though.
I was under the impression that nothing had changed here since I left.
Sir, a lot has changed in your absence. Nothing is as it was, believe me. We are all growing old, and so is everything around us.
Oh, come on, Bates.
I've been a servant here since my youth, and I know well how much a man can be changed by this place. During the last few months, things have been getting noticeably worse, day by day.
What are you talking about?
It is as if the bleakness within the old walls of this manor is gradually taking us over.
Quit being such a downer, Bates. You need to go play golf or something.
I want you to know that you're more of a friend to us than a servant.
I feel the same way about my castle servants. So we explore the mansion some more and... Wait a minute. What's this? This dining room feels really familiar. What's going on here? Ah, okay. Yeah, we have some resemblance. I'm always pleased when I feel like I'm not crazy and imagining things that aren't there.
I don't know that game. Phantasmagoria? Yeah, I can't pronounce that. But yeah, I don't know about that game.
And speaking of going crazy, you may have noticed this game doesn't have anti-aliasing. Well, I tried. I remember getting it to work in the past, but again, maybe I'm just going crazy. You'd think a DirectX 7 game you could just brute force it, but no, not anymore. This game would really benefit from it too and help the characters blend into the world better. So instead of getting smooth graphics, I'm getting pixel face. Pixel face, Roz. Pixel face! From here we need to head outside of the mansion in order to find tools to free up the tower blockade. Now normally, a character such as Samuel here, I'm sure would never dream of doing manual labor such as this. In fact, the butler even offers to take care of any work for you. But Victoria, your grandmother, was the one who requested this be boarded up in the first place. So we're gonna need to be clandestine about this whole affair. Hence we upset the lady of the manor. I'm sure this is the sort of thing rich people have to deal with all the time. So back to looking for tools. And of course we have dragon gargoyles on the sides of the castle. Were you expecting anything different for this place? And damn, Grandpa hit that fence hard. At least there's no ambiguity here where there's a plot twist that he's not really dead. No, he bought the farm. Look at that. So here are the stables. We talked to the groom and he doesn't know anything. All he knows are horses. However, he is happy to point out that he thinks the gardener is full of shit and I shouldn't believe him.
I knew that Flores bastard was spreading gossip about me again. He tells you anything, don't believe him, sir. Ends to get smashed and talk out of his ass.
I don't know if I should encourage this rivalry amongst the help or not. See, these are the kinds of problems the wealthy have to contend with. Anyway, in the stable, I get the tools, but what's this?
Red wine from our cellar. How did the bottle get here?
The stable hand drinking the family's wine? This is a most serious development. We must investigate this at once. Morris, what have you to say about this?
I've noticed you have a bottle of wine on your workbench in the stable. It appears to be our vintage red. Where did you get it?
Well, Sir William gave it to me some time ago. Just this one bottle.
Really?
Yes, sir.
All right, Morris. I do not believe that William would have given away some of our best wine.
I don't believe it either. You expect me to believe that my grandfather gave you, the stable hand, a bottle of our finest wine? I may have been gone for 12 years, but I was not born yesterday. How convenient that your only alibi is now dead. Is that a motive I smell, or is it horse manure?
Ross, I need you to be the voice actor for Samuel. You're so good. You're so good. Because Samuel really, he's so tiring and so monotone in his speech. He's very boring. But when Ross talks,
So we better keep an eye on him, but you know what? He was really trying to sell the gardener to us, so let's go pay him a visit. Along the way, we get a nice shot of the castle, along with spiked urn things on the railings. We also have a nice gazebo, and of course, no shortage of Greek statues.
even the house on the outside looks very brown, very withered and dying. You know, the plants, the grounds, the bricks of the house, everything just looks, it almost looks dilapidated, like, you know, it's being abandoned. Yeah, I really don't like this house. I'm sorry.
I'm all for Greek looking statues, nude or not. They just add to the atmosphere. This isn't the first game to recognize that having some stone or marble statues give your game class and sophistication. Actually, I've heard the original Greek statues were painted and looked tacky as hell. Thankfully, time corrected that problem. Now, even though I think everything looks gorgeous, I don't have the discerning eye of Samuel here, who is constantly spotting how everything has fallen into a state of neglect, like this fountain here. That will be coming up real soon. And here is the gardener, although look at those dragon claw lampposts. Alright,
Is that fire? You know, where there's that pile of, I think it's leaves and twigs. Isn't that a bit dangerous to start a fire right there? I mean, like I said, the house can just catch fire and everything's just gonna burn. But, whatever.
Stop for now. So the gardener gives me this innocent old me routine, but I'm having none of it.
Why doesn't anyone maintain the rear garden?
Yeah!
And what about the fountain? There used to be fish in it once. I have no problem with the rear garden as such, but I want you to clean the fountain.
But, sir, isn't that rather futile? I mean, it can't even be seen from the front.
Are you questioning me?
Either you clean it by tomorrow, or you can start looking for a new job.
Quite!
As you wish, sir.
That was not even threatening. You know, it didn't have that threatening tone about it, Samuel. I don't know. They gotta replace this guy. His voice acting was very... I mean, it does sound very posh, yes, but it just doesn't have the fire in it. You know, like how Ross is talking right now? I want that. I want that.
It's a good thing I arrived when I did. We'll see how long he lasts. Samuel has his priorities. Damn, that is a nice looking greenhouse. But what's this? Blood in the wood chipper? Well, that's no good. I think we better confront him about this. What is he doing? Throwing squirrels in there?
Henry, there's blood in the grinder in front of the greenhouse.
I cannot imagine somebody saying that line in a classier tone.
I only put branches in it.
Yeah, play dumb. I don't know nothing about them chopped up body parts. Boy, Samuel really has his work cut out for him with help like this.
Perhaps you're right. I probably imagined it.
No, you didn't imagine it. Don't back down, Samuel. Look, it's right there. Ah, well, it's gonna be that kind of game, huh? Well, from here we go see Grandma, because even though we have the tools, that door is still locked. So we need to finagle the answer out of her.
In the past, we used to have our own stable of full-blooded stallions. Some of them won many races. All that fame is long lost now.
Life is hard. Anyway, Grandma gives us some more information on Grandpa.
About half a year ago, he closed himself in that damn tower and spent whole days and nights there. He never told me what he was doing. When I asked, he merely stated that he was looking for the truth and that he would not stop until he found it.
That sounds like me. She also discusses the servants.
Bates isn't looking well. He's old and very tired.
Yeah, better put him down, huh?
He has worked here all his life, just like his father before him.
It's good to have traditions. So how about that key?
No one is allowed to set foot in there. Why are you talking about that place to me, Samuel? Why are you making me think of it?
Ah, this is gonna be a pain in the ass. So we're not getting into the tower, but we start tripping over clues left and right. Like we find out from a friend of the family that Grandpa had burn marks on him. That's weird. Did lightning strike the fence too, just to make sure he's triple dead? Also, the castle was built upon pagan land. Ooh. Again, I like these faces as part of the architecture. And naturally, we have a human skull in the library here. So that makes the second human skull so far. You might have missed the first one from Grandpa's study earlier. Time to pay a visit to Uncle Bob again.
Why doesn't Victoria like Morris?
You mean why she can't stand him? Well, maybe because he's so common. Aristocratic prejudice, you know what I mean.
I know. And after gathering enough clues, we get to head outside the castle. Look at this front gate. Does this not say a vampire count lives here? Awesome. So let's head into town and find out what's been happening from the locals. They're mostly talking about fish or beer, but there is some information here. We get to the heart of the matter as any self-respecting Gordon would. With money. From here, it's a complete web of suspects and clues. With an informative gravedigger, a suspicious man showing up with a package, Grandpa's hidden liquor stash, some sort of glyph inscribed where Grandpa died? Shit. That one's a bad sign. I'm starting to think maybe this wasn't ninjas after all.
Yeah, I'm starting to think maybe it's due to, bad spirits or, pagan spirits that want revenge on this family, on the Gordon family, because, they built their mansion on top of their graves and top of their land as pagan people, so, yeah.
But thanks to adventure game logic, if you solve enough puzzles, you get to the truth of anything, and we thus find the key to the tower. Aha! So we head up there. There's lots of clues, but the most significant is a long diary kept by your grandfather. To cut things short, he says the family is cursed, he's found some secret tombs, and there was something strange going on in Wales. There, I just saved you 7 minutes of dialogue. I'm not kidding. Armed with that knowledge, we head out and drop like a rock from all the strain, I guess. Chapter 2.
Did you see the way he fell? Come on.
Time to get up. So we get out of bed after fainting and we have some news.
It's horrible, sir. Henry, our gardener. They found him dead this morning in the pond. I know what I am saying. I saw his body being dragged out.
Bum. Oh, what? You didn't think we were only going to have one murder, did you? Trick or treat! So a detective is here to question us.
He might have bumped into something, lost his balance, and fallen into the water. He wouldn't be the first drunkard to have drowned like this. What's ironic, however, is that it didn't happen in a lake or a river, but in a little bit of water in the back garden.
Oh, so he wasn't murdered. Sorry to get your hopes up. It's just another drunk falling into a puddle and drowning. I told.
But the water in the fountain was not really that deep. I mean, okay. I guess it is possible. I just find it hard to believe that he drowned in that pool of water in the fountain. It wasn't that deep. But anyways.
The help is no good around here. And that's what's on Samuel's mind too. Since he can't threaten to fire the gardener anymore, he moves on to the stable hand. Even though I'm not sure if it's part of his job description, remember that well from yesterday? Well, Samuel decides it's a safety hazard because he's had enough of servants falling down and getting themselves killed.
Have you boarded up the old well like I asked you to yesterday?
Not yet, sir. I'll do it today.
It should have been done yesterday. I'm surprised that Henry didn't fall into it.
Excuse me, sir?
You know well how I meant that. I want to see it secured today, or you can start looking for a new job. Is that clear?
Boy, that...
Oh, you can start looking for a new job. Really?
That's his answer to everything, isn't it? Oh, and it's raining now. I'm as shocked as you are Samuel isn't carrying an umbrella. Or rather, getting Bates to carry his umbrella for him. We spent most of this day talking to everyone and gathering more clues. There's too much for me to cover here. I'll just say the mystery is building.
You have mentioned often since I arrived that you have a lot of work. So, what are you working on?
Oh, I would rather not bother you with the details. Let's just say I'm carrying out specific research.
We do decide to inspect the fountain though, especially since we saw that key in our vision, but first we have to head down to the cellar to drain it. That's naturally where we keep the battle axes for unwanted visitors, and I like how completely non-suspiciously our butler is sharpening the knives here. Yes. We also have a puzzle here, and tell me this is not the coolest water pressure gauge you've ever seen. It sure is for me. So we drain the pond, and sure enough, the key is there. But uh-oh, what's this? It's another glyph. Yeah, okay. How's the saying go? Once is a coincidence, twice is witchcraft? Okay, I think we can safely rule out ninjas now. Only a witch, or warlock, or elves are gonna be doing crap like this. So we need to find a witch to burn. But which witch is a witch? Well, we'll have to find out later because we just found another big clue. A letter the late gardener was writing saying Morris is a criminal and a thief and he has been stealing our wine. This is outrageous. I first consult this with Bates, and he confirms our suspicions.
Henry blames Morris for stealing the wine from our cellars. Did you know anything about it?
Tell the truth, sir. Yes, I have a good clue as to who might be behind it.
Is that what the knife's for?
And you didn't tell the lady of the house that, hey, one of your employees are busy stealing the wine from the cellar? You didn't say anything, Bates? You should be suspended.
I didn't want Madam to have to worry about a couple bottles of wine after what just happened.
I agree. No need to concern Victoria with this. Best we handle this quietly.
There is so much wine in the cellar, sir. It seemed unlikely that anyone would notice a dozen bottles missing.
What? You're getting...
That's how it starts. A few dozen here, a few dozen there, and then all of a sudden all of them are gone. And then what? What are you going to say? How are you going to repay all of those bottles back? Come on, Bates. You can't do this.
Soft in your old age, Bates. I'll take care of this. So I confront Morris about this, and we shockingly let him off light as a feather. I don't get it. This is Mr. I'll have your job if you don't do as I say. All I can think here is that Morris crossed such a line that Samuel is plotting a fitting revenge and not pursuing so coarse a confrontation. Meanwhile, the suspicion is getting so thick you can cut it with a knife. We head over to visit the doctor, who's a friend of the family, performing the autopsy on Grandpa. We had a short discussion yesterday where he wanted to tell me about a discovery he made, but in private. So here we are, in private, and he's playing dumb.
What you're saying is different from what you already told me.
So that's selective amnesia coupled with burn marks from a strange device. This is reeking of witchcraft. You're gonna need a crossbow and crucifix, Samuel. But wait, we're not done. In discussing Henry's death, we learn more.
No blood. Not a single drop of it anywhere. As though something squeezed the life out of him, like the juice from an orange, and disposed of its skin in that fountain.
So are these...
Okay, so we're either dealing with ghosts, you know, with some sort of spirits from the pagan people who died, or we're dealing with vampires, or we're dealing with demons. Okay, yeah.
Vampires? I'm so confused. Well, you're still gonna need a crossbow and a crucifix. And I realize this is a morgue, but this is a lot of human skulls we're coming across. I'm gonna start keeping count. Anyway, since the doctor is acting so fishy, we naturally go digging through his trash to piece together another envelope to find another mysterious correspondence. And a body, but whatever. We are tripping over suspects. It's the same all around town. I think we need to suspect everyone of murdering everyone else at this point. Fishing in the rain, huh? You expect me to believe that? Okay, well, that actually is pretty normal. Now, I'm skipping details, but our clues lead us on embarking on an Indiana Jones-like trail, which brings us to the church built by our ancestors. I mean, naturally, we have more of those heads again. That leads us to a closed-off part of the church, which leads us to a hidden chamber, which leads us to a secret catacombs, which leads us to falling down some mine shafts. But wait, let's back up a second.
It's like the overarching color of this game is brown. You know, different shades of brown. In the town, in the home, what is it called? The Black Mirror Castle, the church, the underground catacombs. Everything has got this underlying brown theme. Huh, okay.
In the last episode, I mentioned there was no time travel in this game. And yes, that is true. But think quick. This game came out in 2003, so what year does this take place? I assumed present day, so 2003, but I didn't really think about it. I mean, Samuel seems to be wearing reasonably modern clothing, and we're off in an old castle off in the country surrounded by old people. Time may as well be standing still. 1981. That's when this game takes place. And I only found that out because of the tombstone of Grandpa. I never would have realized that. I mean, sure, you don't see anyone fiddling with a smartphone, but that was still normal in 2003. So, surprise! We just time warped back a few decades. That means Hunter S. Thompson is still alive. So back to the mine, here we find a journal which after 6 minutes of dialogue tells us some miners got screwed. But we puzzle our way out of this and get various machines working. And after taking a lift up to the top, we exit to safety. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. We get eaten by wolves. The end. Yeah, you can die in this game.
Wait, Britain has wolves? I know they have foxes, but not wolves. This is new to me. Maybe it's for the game's sake. I don't know. Because, yeah, this is quite interesting that you can actually die in the game. Although you're not dying by other human beings or supernatural occurrences. You're dying by animals. Okay.
Surprise! This sure was a surprise for me. See, Black Mirror is an evolution of the standard adventure game formula that got big back in the 90s. And during that time, there were two big players, Sierra and LucasArts. Now, Sierra games were infamous for letting you get yourself killed every 5 minutes from just about anything. But most LucasArts adventure games, you couldn't get yourself killed even if you tried. Now, I'm not saying this is the first, but Black Mirror is the first adventure game I've seen to string you along in complete and utter safety for several hours, then take you out into the woods and kill you. I'm impressed. Nothing to wake you up like getting yourself killed. So here's what should have happened. Stone Cold Samuel Gordon.
Full moon.
Oh.
Okay, and possibly we might be dealing with werewolves.
Chapter 3.
Chapapa chipopa. Chopapa chichichu chapapa chichopa.
So we wake up and then get another black screen while Samuel says he's off to visit the family manor in Wales as part of our investigation. Come on, guys, even just a map animation would have worked here. But it pays off because...
How many homes do the Gordons have? They have another mansion in Wales? Wow, this family is rich. Like super.
Damn, this certainly looks like one of the family estates. We have spiked grass fencing, more nude statues, and demon wings. I hope you like succubi because that's what we're getting. Anyway, we enter and spend a few minutes being cordial to each other before dismissing the help.
Can we speak in private?
I understand. Louis, can you return to your duties now?
Certainly, madam.
Certainly, madam. We talked to our great Aunt Eleanor here about everything related to the investigation, which, again, we're in too deep to even explain. Just roll with it. Outside, I dare say the grounds to their estate are even nicer than Black Mirror's. Maybe it helps that they have a groundskeeper who's not dead. Samuel largely approves.
Yeah, it's a bit more colorful. That's true. That is true. I especially like the trees with the red leaves. That's nice.
But being a Gordon, he's not going to rest on his laurels, and while he can't threaten to fire the help here too, he's sure to order them around.
You really should go fix it right away. It is Eleanor's wish.
We explore further, and be sure to notice the demon head engraving. I like that. We also discover a secret passage from some abandoned house that's also part of the estate. And ta-da! It's Great Uncle Richard conducting some sort of science experiment. Since you're here, he tasked you to go gather some supplies for him, and it's worth currying his favor so you can get into the tomb, which contains more important clues for your investigation. But to do that, we need to con the workman so we can get to his tools. Well, that's no problem for the likes of Samuel.
Madam has explicitly ordered that you start to mow the lawn.
Yes.
Really? Oh, well, I'll do it by this evening.
You must be finished before it gets dark. Madam does not want to be disturbed during the evening.
Do you not respect the wishes of Madam? So we get into the tomb, solve some puzzles, but get caught by the maintenance man, so we need to come back at night. And damn, this place looks nice at night. Inside the tomb, we find a secret passage, and seriously, I can't think of the last time I saw this much skull-themed architecture outside of a Warhammer game. I mean, don't worry, we're still adding to the list. In fact, if we do things out of sequence, we get to add our own skull to the collection. Whoops! Anyway, if we don't do that, we find another one of our ancestors, get the artifact we came here for.
Okay, so you can die by animals, particularly wolves, and booby traps. Huh.
And head back home. Chapter 4. Hey, no weird visions this time. But that doesn't help because we've been gone for 1 day and everything's gone to hell. Typical. Uncle Bob is missing and a local boy got eaten by wolves. Man, I shot one. There's a lot of hungry wolves in this forest. So we go to check out the scene of where it happened and oh shit. Yeah, wolves. That's just what they want you to think. And by they, I mean witches. Or cultists. Or elves. If we stop by the morgue, the doctor tells us what we already know. It wasn't wolves, it was an elf blade. Well, okay, he doesn't say that, but he says it's definitely not wolves. So off we go to find our uncle, who works at the sanatorium. This is a well-funded sanatorium. But what else would we expect for our family members who work? Here we find more clues, which takes us to some ruined tower out in the countryside in a storm at night. What the hell are we doing here? Well, we're checking out the light and getting hit over the head with a shovel is what we're doing. Surprise! It's getting buried alive time. Da-da-da! But if we cut ourselves free with the combination rook/knife and use the music box, we're set free by the mental patient who tried to kill us. We find out from him that your uncle has been conducting cruel experiments on him. I'm not sure who to believe here, but I guess that's the point. In any event...
So this guy who lives in this dilapidated tower hits you on the head, digs up a grave, wants to bury you alive, but you just activate a musical toy thing, and then he just calms down and he releases you. Okay, that's odd.
He gives us another lead to find the family artifacts. That actually makes more sense than I'm making it look like here. We've been skipping hours of dialogue. And with that, we head to the secret sewers underneath the cellar of the castle. This is the fanciest looking sewer I've ever been in. Okay, that is badass. That looks like the face on the bronze.
Wait, what's all that there? Is that feces mixed with water? Oh my gosh. It may be a fancy sewer, but it's still a sewer, guys.
Stoker's Dracula movie poster. Okay, no, I'm wrong. That is the face on the movie poster. Come on, guys, you've got to do better than that. You can't just copy the damn thing, even though I guess that's what you did. Anyway, we drain the pool, head even deeper, but start to feel sick. So, Chapter 5. Oh yeah, back to Vision. I'm getting a sense of foreboding here. Whoops! So I wake up in bed.
Every time Samuel, sorry, I almost said Simon. Every time Samuel dreams, he dreams about someone dying, like the gardener, like now the doctor is dead as well after he's dreamt it. That means he's somehow related to it. I don't know whether he's actually doing it or is it the spirits that are actually doing this. I'm not sure, but he is somehow connected to that.
Again, boy, they're getting their mileage out of that animation, huh? So I awaken with the butler banging on the door to tell me the sanatorium called and wishes to speak to me about a most urgent matter that they wouldn't tell the butler. How dare they? Don't they know he's like family? And I love this part. The butler also informs me in the most cordial manner possible that it's the fucking end times outside and the sun has been blotted out from the sky.
Sir, the weather is truly terrible. A vigorous storm is approaching. The sky is entirely overcast as though it were night. I have no previous recollection of such horrid weather.
You know, if the world ever ends, I'd like a butler to inform me in a concerned but formal manner such as this. So we arrive at the sanatorium only to find out that Uncle Bob is dead. It seems that Crazy Head here caught up with him at the tower ruins and murdered him. The police brought him back, so let's at least question him, huh? So we go to see him, but uh-oh. He's dead too, hung himself. This is getting out of hand. We've got a case of death going around. Oh, and he wrote my name on the wall. Gee, thanks, James. That totally doesn't raise suspicion on me. I'm the first normal person you've talked to in maybe a decade, so you decide to commemorate the event by hanging yourself and writing my name on the wall in blood. For fuck's sake. Let's get out of here. So we go to see the doctor next. Yeah, that's a great idea, especially since nothing about my visions ever comes true, right? Oh gee, what are we gonna find here? Is this what? Yep. Whoa! I do like how Samuel calmly walks towards the sink and vomits here. And with that, I think it's about time for the second award. Classiest Game Protagonist. You guys are getting the abridged version, so you may not see the full picture, but Sammy G here is the classiest game hero I've ever seen. He's well-bred, always polite, authoritative, distinguished in his taste. I really can't think of any comparison. And of course there's a glyph, in case you weren't sure if this was related to the other murders. What? What's going on? I didn't press anything. Is it Satan worshipping time already? Apparently. Well, you know what Nietzsche says. You stare too long at the abyss, it stares back at you. Well, keep staring. Okay, back to the game. Like, nothing happened. No comment from Samuel. Okay. Now, there's a big clue in this room, but I'm going to skip that for reasons that will soon be revealed. But first, now that our uncle is dead, we can snoop around in his study. Aha! Nice assortment of medieval weapons on the wall, and another portrait of an ancestor who totally doesn't look like a dark wizard. And hey, look, we found a little devilogram or something. So we open up his safe with the power of puzzles, find Grandpa's original letter to me, and some more clues. So next we need to do some grave digging so we can dig up another one of these weird artifacts to activate some devil lock underneath the castle, because that will solve all our problems or something. And, uh-oh, it's that time again. I hate doing this, but this is a murder mystery. So if you intend to play this game, I've got to kick you to the curb before I wrap this up. It's a good one, too. Without saying too much, the game fooled me, but it did so in a logically consistent way. It holds up. That does not happen to me often. I have nothing but respect for this outcome.
I don't know. With me and mystery games, I'm not really fond of them. I'm impatient. I'd rather shoot first and ask questions later. So, you know, mystery solving games are not really my forte, if I can say. Yeah.
So if you like murder mysteries, go play this game and come back and watch this later. But just to drop you off at the very last moment, let's cover everything else first. So that's the game, mostly. I want to say this is an all-time favorite of mine, but it doesn't quite make it. It's close. Everything about this game is an acquired taste. But damn, it's a good taste. It's slow, loaded with long character-building dialogue, your usual adventure game puzzles, and not everyone's going to want to walk the walk of a young aristocratic man with too much time on his hands. I love the atmosphere, the music, the characters are good. It's just a good game. I like it a lot, except for one problem I can't tell you yet. And I'm not the only one, because this game did well enough to spawn some sequels, Black Mirror 2 and 3. These take place in the 90s following a bastard child of the Gordons. He's just some guy from Boston, nothing special.
Who, Samuel's child? I thought Samuel's wife passed away. Maybe he remarried, or he had relations with a woman he did not marry, and thus the child is a bastard child. Okay.
These are both competent games, but they just didn't capture the magic of the original to me. They feel like sequels that were made just to extend things but don't really have anything to add. Also, they don't...
What I really don't like is the walking mechanics. Dude, just walk faster. Walk faster. Or hopefully they have that option for your character, you know, just to jog a bit to wherever he is going to. But yeah, I just don't really like the walking mechanics.
Use the same composer as the original. That was a mistake right there. Unless he really has mysteriously disappeared, in which case I guess they had to work with what they had. The music in the sequels is mostly forgettable, not the masterful work that's here. I'm all for another game in the Black Mirror universe, but they need to up the ante, get more nuts than the original. Maybe come back to that storm to end the world or something. And of course, the reason this episode is coming out now is Black Mirror, the new game coming out next month. It's unclear to me whether this is a prequel, a reboot, or both. It takes place in the 1920s, and I'm not sold on this one since I already know how it ends up from this game. Plus, every shot I've seen of the game makes it one of the darkest games I've ever seen. I mean, literally, all there is to see is some guy with a candle. Usually for a prequel to be good, you have to take the story in a completely different direction. Otherwise, you're just retreading the same thing over and over. You're not going to hear me complaining if somebody releases a new Supreme Commander or Castlevania clone and those don't do much new. But that's because those are gameplay focused. You can have endless variations of roughly the same thing if the gameplay is good enough. But the Black Mirror is a narrative focused game. You have to keep the story fresh with those. You can't just rehash the same damn thing. Well, I guess you obviously can, but you shouldn't. Okay, that's it. I've got to kick you guys out now. Only the people who want the ending spoiled can stay. Have a happy
I'm staying right here. I am staying right here.
Halloween and solve the mystery of where all the candy is. Alright, so who's been doing all these killings? Well, I was racking my brain on this because we had a big clue back in the morgue. The doctor held a clump of black hair. So that rules out several people, like the butler, some of the townsfolk, most people who aren't dead yet. It could be Morris, since he's hightailed it out of here. Now, I know what you're thinking, because I was thinking it too. It's gotta be Samuel himself, right? He has black hair, he was having those visions of the killings, he's killing people in his sleep. Except, whoa, wait a minute there, Chief. What about Grandpa? Samuel wasn't even in town when that happened. Who threw him out of the tower and left glyph marks by his death site? Not me. Samuel is 100% innocent on that. Well, it's what Grandpa was worried about all along. It's the family curse. That's right, you're all damn descendants of that dark wizard. So it was Samuel for everyone except Grandpa. Grandpa threw himself out of that tower, except like Samuel, he wasn't in control of his own actions. And if you're still not sure, the butler spills the beans on it at confession. He saw you. It was you, Samuel. You! Chapter 6. Well, the game's not over, so we may as well see this through. We activate the Hell keypad with the special ring Grandpa was talking about, and now we're entering something. I have no idea. I love how nonchalantly Samuel comments about what may be a gateway into hell.
I don't know what the writing means. Maybe it warns against entering.
100% class. Now, while we're wandering the hell dungeons here, I should say there are two trains of thought on this mystery. Some people are going to say an evil curse is just one big deus ex machina and a lame answer to everything. I get that, but honestly, I'm in the other camp where this is the payoff to me. I like being surprised in stories, and I'm always hoping in mysteries something supernatural or else really bizarre is lurking underneath everything you're seeing, not just some clever plan of a villain. I've never been a big fan of Sherlock Holmes, or for that matter, Scooby-Doo, because I like it when reality breaks down and there's more going on than just some guy in a suit. So to have the game be 98% real world, then the bottom 2% be a glimmer into something else? Hell yes. So we make it to a hell portal, go through to some chamber, activate the soul keys or whatever, and I think what we're doing is preventing the curse from affecting future Gordons.
So this underground structure was built by the pagans who used to live there. And this curse, how was it activated and how was it, put on the Gordons? Was it probably one of their ancestors, the one that practiced magic maybe? Yeah, I'm thinking that's what happened.
Even though that's exactly what Black Mirror 2 and 3 are about. And here we are back at the castle, and Samuel kills himself to prevent further harm, because of course he's going to be all dramatic about this. You could always just turn yourself in. The police would make sure you don't hurt anybody.
So then, how does the Gordon line exist? Since Samuel Gordon has killed himself, in Black Mirror 2 and 3 they said that there were bastard children from the Gordon family. Who had those children? Maybe the great aunt's side of the family had children. Yeah. Huh.
Else. That's what they're all about. So yeah, that's the Black Mirror. And honestly, this ending kind of sucks. But PC games are notorious for that. I hope we get a better ending next year. I mean, the Hellgate is great, but what's the point of a complex ritual in a secret demon world if all you're gonna do is jump off a building? You don't need a Hellgate for that. You don't even need to be rich. This ending is what keeps this from being an all-time favorite game of mine. Because it would be with the right one. I don't know, Samuel Turner.
Seriously, what's up with all these spikes and protruding structures on the terraces of a building? I mean, this place is just a death trap, honestly. Like I've said before, it's a fire trap and it's also an impalement trap. Yeah.
Turns into the Antichrist and opens up the Hellgate so demons start spilling out? Now that's sequel material. Hey, this takes place in jolly old England in 81. This could connect nicely into Bozo's Night Out. That's 84. So I guess the moral to this story is if you're born to a cursed family, just leave home and don't come back. Or if you do, don't stay for more than a day. That's actually really good advice. About half of my family is cursed. Also, weird gothic mansions are awesome and we need a lot more of them. These estates should be the
I've had enough. I've had enough.
standard, not the exception. That's it. Everyone have a classy Halloween.
I'll go back.
Right. You know, somebody's still gonna make a comment on how they thought this was about the Black Mirror show. I guarantee it. Just look at the comments for the new game trailer. Yeah, this is from Season 5, jackasses. You weren't paying attention.
Okay guys, that was the Black Mirror Ross's Game Dungeon by the YouTube channel called Accursed Farms. Yeah, honestly speaking, it's not a game that I would play. Like I've said before, I'm not really patient with mystery solving, murder solving games. I just don't have the time for that. But it was interesting watching Ross play it and his own commentary on the game. And yeah, I think Samuel as a character was very like really he could put me to sleep. The way he speaks, I just couldn't enjoy it. Now when Ross was speaking on behalf of Samuel, you know, that was just funny, it was enjoyable. You know, I just wish that Samuel could talk like that, but you know, yeah, it was okay. The game itself, the story progression was very confusing. I didn't really get it in the beginning, you know, with all the deaths, all what was happening in terms of the curse. I thought the house itself would have a far more prominent role in the curse or the supernatural events that are occurring around this family, but it involved the pagans and the underground demon worshipping catacombs place. Yeah, that's okay, but I don't know, I just wanted more from the house, especially because of the way it looks like and the portraits, as I was talking about. You know, maybe the spirits could come out of the portraits, something like that. I don't know, I just expected more. Yeah, because the house itself was just its own character, you know, with all of these trinkets and structures and the skulls and the gargoyles and the spikes, everything. It just had its own character, more character than the characters in the game, if I can say that. So yeah, it's a, like I said before, it's a game that I think I would never play. I would never play it. Yeah, but if you guys like it, good luck. Good luck to you. Okay guys, I guess that's it for today. Remember, if you like the video, please give me a like, comment and subscribe to my channel. Click on notification bell if you want to be up to date with my latest videos. And I guess that's it. Bye bye.